What is going on, guys? So I decided to do a video scan tonight. Um, Quite a few things that I am watching, and I have been getting quite a few requests to do some videos as far as scans, ideas, and all that stuff. So here you guys go. I have quite a few names that I'm looking at still currently. So let me go ahead and go over those. Kind of one of the main ones tomorrow is Beyond. Had some pretty good longs on that one today. Right in this early area, watching it set up pretty much as an ABCD uh, breakout. So that was pretty nice. I actually got long over here on some bids that I forgot about and then just sold them because I didn't really want to be back in the name, realizing it went up about another 10 bucks a share. So that would have been nice. But tomorrow, kind of what I'm looking for on Beyond is overall, I don't want to see the market still remain strong if this is going to be the game plan, but I do think based off of how this is traded, you want to go back and take a look at previous days and how it reacted through parabolic. So I feel like we're kind of at this point right in here uh, on the chart to the right that we're at currently. So tomorrow, if there is any morning weakness, especially in the AM, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can look at shorting this, or if not, taking some puts. But I do kind of expect this to, if the market's hot, parabolic even into like the 130s, and then wait for it the next day. So that's going to be something that I am watching pretty much every day now for the next few days. Next one is brutally Tesla. I have been short biased since this day. It's been haircuts, paper cuts all along through the day. I had some puts overnight, lost about 70% on those, but it has yet to show, you know, the action that I should be waiting for. So today, full on continued squeeze. This can easily go, who knows, 550s. The only good read that I've had on it so far was back in here where it had squeezed out the entire week, and I decided to take some puts over the weekend. I think they were like the 400s, but it had a pretty nice, just straight $30, $20 washout on that morning. And really, that was all the gains I've given back since then. So, still a main watch for me. But the biggest thing with Tesla, and I had to go back, you can see I have a lot of alerts and lines because that's just something that I do. I had to go all the way back to here to kind of see this previous type of action because it hasn't had this big of a move since the 80s. So you got to go all the way back to 2013 just to see this type of action on this name. So it could just continue to squeeze higher and higher. Could go 550s, could even go into 600s. So somebody is losing monstrably on this name, but still one of those things that'll once it does finally have that day, it's either going to be a big gap down or it's going to be one of those late day fades type of things. I thought it was going to be today. I kept getting in there a few times, especially after that trend line that I drew broke. But kind of realized that after it didn't snap that 516s right here into the end of the day, that it was going to continue to squeeze out. So ended up taking quite a few losses in here in between, but nothing crazy size because it's just a beast at the moment. So that's kind of the game plan as far as tomorrow. If it goes 550s plus, maybe in the 560s, to look to short that again. Next one was an awesome one today, CGC. I think, and I could be wrong on this, but a lot of the marijuana names are moving up based off of something I saw last week in regards to New York possibly legalizing. I have to look into more information on it, but I'm pretty certain that's why all these names are going. The biggest level that I've been looking at for the last 2 or 3 months is that 2250s. And as you can kind of see even here on the daily, that was the level that mattered to me. So we finally cleared that pretty convincingly. The only problem is that I'm worried about is every time that CGC has a big day, it always gives it right back in the morning. So if this gaps and immediately starts to pull back, it is not something that I want to look to add to. I'll probably just exit and wait another 2 or 3 days if it decides it wants to go back down to the 22s. So um, overall, swing trade there. Very easy possibility that if it does continue to go, it'll get a 3-day move. is the likelihood that I'm thinking, especially if it's the New York stuff that's sending it in the first place. So possibly 25s tomorrow. If not, likelihood would be low 22s, high 21s. Same thing over here with TLRY, which is an uglier name, but very easily possibly 20s. The big convincing thing on these two is that uh, the options trades that were going off on these signaled to me that somebody wanted size. So I'm more bullish than the previous times because there wasn't as much options action on those names. So if CGC, which is the main one, decides that it wants to gap and go, and this one starts out weak, I'll look to add to that as well. But likelihood that this could do big move into 19s tomorrow. Next one is the Impix name. I always like to relook at these and nobody's paying attention. It is already all the way back down to that pre-move after it's split. So something with this name is that if it breaks tomorrow morning, or even if it opens kind of weak and just stays in the same area, that'll be a notable type of action. And I'll want to see something kind of like this, but I need it to see it hold its gains through 380s. So as you can see, I've set some alerts, 375s, 390s, and then 420s. I think that was previously yesterday because the same idea. But anything over through 4s, and this could easily squeeze out again because back to the level we're at. So this was even before, I think this was in 7-cent area before the split, 11s all the way to 60 cents. So it is something that will be main watch for me tomorrow. Now I'm going to go ahead and get into some of the other small marijuana names that I'm looking at, starting with a few of the biggest ones that had some decent moves. TRTC closed pretty well into the close, or sorry, closed well into the close. That makes sense. Kind of line in the sand in here is the 21s where it started to break out for me. Likelihood that if it pulls back into the 20s or 21s, stabilizes, I may add to that as well. But this one turned out to be a pretty nice one throughout the day. CBDS was another one, and these are all really ugly looking charts. But when marijuana names start to go, that's where all of my eyes go, is these old names that I know. As long as they've broken out of resistance areas and the volume is good enough to put on some size. So this one touched 70s today. Pretty obvious right here that if 62s kind of give way, I'll look to just exit that. Got early entries just because I decided to take some of these names first and see how they reacted based off of CGC and TLRY and all those. Next one is Buds. It didn't really move, but it's one of those spec names with CBDS and the other one that I'm about to show. So this one has to have 35s with volume, in my opinion, or it's just kind of a completely ignore. And then the last one, super cheap one, Nugs. It's ran always with BUDS, so these are no split amounts. It does make some wild moves from 1 to 5. And it's just one of those names that I remember in the past that if it gets going through any, a semblance of part of the day, it can make a pretty sweet move. So it's a name that I'm paying attention to as well. So the 05s I think are the big level on that. So if we open up tomorrow with 05s, this could easily do a double, provided CGC, TLRY, and all those other big names are continuing. So if you guys have any questions, leave a comment below, or go ahead and shoot me an email at cody@investorsunderground.com.